7 Chinese nationals have been convicted of human trafficking and labor law violations in the Johannesburg High Court. They were arrested back in 2019. Over 90 illegal foreign nationals were found at a factory owned by the suspects. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba joining us live now with more details on this story. Ziniko, good evening to you. Are you able to hear us? I think let's start there.
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Mhlaba.
So the judge, give us some detail as to part of the reasoning for why these Chinese nationals were found guilty.
So if I can start towards the end of the views or some of the conclusions this court made regarding the charges these 7 Chinese nationals faced, was the fact that firstly, their argument or the evidence or their defense was very, very weak, saying that up of the 7 individuals who were here in court today, who had been out on bail, he said that the one person who had took to the stand to testify, his testimony was very, very questionable. It was not credible. He could not answer any accurate question which pointed towards, towards him as a witness on the stand, but also commending the state for a job well done in terms of gathering evidence, in terms of bringing in witnesses who came to this particular court to shed very, very convincing, testimony. But also, what was also very, very interesting from my point of view was the fact that a testimony by one of the former employees, who is a South African, collaborated with the evidence that was shared by the victims themselves of this particular, incident or case. So I think that what really convinced the judge of this particular court to really sway towards the way of the state, but also the nature and how these events took place. The judge said that it is not acceptable at all in South Africa to be dealing with people who are very ignorant of the local labor laws in this country, because accused number 1, who was the manager of that particular factory, said that, well, the reason why he did not comply with any of the local labor laws was the fact that he did not know that there are labor laws in South Africa, and that was very, very troubling to the judge. So without going further, let's take a listen to this bite by the judge, who really shed a very, very long judgment when it comes to this particular case here in the South Gauteng High Court.
Case number 1 up to 8. Count 1, guilty failure to register with the compensation fund.
非常高兴。
Guilty failure to keep records of earnings of employees. Count 3 up to 5, guilty of failure to furnish the commissioner with returns of earnings. Count 6 to 8, guilty of failure to pay annual assessment. Count 9, guilty of failure to provide and maintain a safe workplace without risk to the employee. Count 10, guilty of failure to notify employees about the health hazards to their health and safety. Count 11, guilty of failure to report an incident in the workplace. Count 12, guilty of failure to provide information to employees, or information of employees to the Commissioner of the Unemployment Insurance Fund. 13, guilty of failure to inform the Commissioner of the Unemployment Insurance Fund of any change. 14 up to 40, guilty of failure to pay unemployment insurance fund. Count 41, guilty, failure to provide particulars to the Commissioner for registration as an employer.
Ziniko Mhlaba, thank you very much for that update, giving us just some of the reasoning for the judge finding the Chinese nationals guilty, among others, of human trafficking.